Why, hello. Is there something different? Nah, I think everything's the same. No, I did do my hair yesterday because, I don't know, I felt like I needed more color in my life, so we got rainbows on the front. I updated this green to be more like emerald, and this side to be more burgundy, kinda. So, that's where I'm at right now. I don't know. Probably related to my mental state, but it's fine. I really like it. I like doing crazy hair, and I don't think I've done quite this before, so here we are. Anyways, with that being said, hello, welcome back to another Life by You update video, where we are going to be watching the newest development update for Life by You. And this week it is with the game designer William. So this is a new person we haven't heard from before, so I'm very interested to hear from a different person as they walk us through the crafting system, collectibles and all that type of stuff, and like how that works. I'm very excited to see it. It's a little bit different than the other stuff we've seen, so I'm curious to see how collecting and crafting is going to work in this game. This is a tweet right here. Join game designer William as he walks us through the crafting system in Life by You. From the mountains to the sea, find and collect materials to craft in 4 different categories. So it looks like seashells, gems, flowers, and like fossils maybe, or bones. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I will link this in the description below so you can watch this video yourself, but we're gonna watch it now without pausing, and then I'll tell you my thoughts as we go along and at the end.
Welcome everybody back to Life by You and this introductory video on the new crafting
New guy.
system that we just added to the game.
Crafting.
My name is Willem Delventhal and I'm actually the newest game designer on the
he's
team.
new.
This is my first video,
Oh,
so
that's
great
cool.
to meet all of you. Game designers primarily work on the systems and mechanics of the game to find the fun, I was tasked with creating a fun and satisfying crafting system for all of you.
Aww.
Now, remember, before anything else, that all of this may well change. That is a big part of game design, iterating until
everything
we really
will
make
change.
something awesome.
Yep. You gotta iterate till you
now,
find
the
the
4 primary
sweet spot.
crafting categories that we decided to include in the game are archaeology, floristry, beachcombing, and jewelry making.
Oh, jewelry
and I'm
making.
Going to go through each of those 4 categories and tell you
so it's a little bit more than I thought. We're continuing to add
icons to crafting. I work with many different departments to make this possible, including some of the people you may already know, like Amanda and Leslie, our engineers, to make the actual mechanics and the code underneath the system, and artists like Sean Nakamura to make these beautiful flower models that you're going to see in just a moment.
Ooh. Can't wait to see it.
Now, the first thing you're going to notice that's different is troves peppered around your region. A trove is kind of like a little treasure chest that you can find in one of the 4 primary crafting categories. So you might find an archaeology trove or a beachcombing trove in corresponding locations. Opening a trove requires no skill and actually progresses your skill in the corresponding category.
That's good.
And it makes your character a little bit more happy. The items inside are randomized, but they're randomized within subcategories. So, for instance, you might find a purple wildflower trove, or perhaps an arms and armor archaeology stash.
Ooh.
They appear all the time, and if you took a casual scroll across the world, you'd find about a dozen of them. And every time you collect a trove, you'll get a number of ingredients that you can use in crafting for the 4 primary categories.
I feel like that's going to be really addicting.
Now, those subcategories of troves have tendencies for where they appear, and you'll probably start to notice them as you collect
gathering
the troves.
stuff in
so
The
for
Sims.
Instance, did you know that purple wildflowers seem to like high elevation, and that archaeology troves
be
seem
similar
to like
that,
hillsides and
but
rocky areas?
more interesting because like archaeology.
The first primary crafting category is archaeology, where you, the player, can collect and study artifacts that you find around the world, writing research papers,
this is all
creating unique item and furniture out of them, and all sorts of other goodies. Interestingly, as you become a more and more famous archaeologist, you will actually get noticed for your work.
You get noticed for your work?
What? You'll make more money from publishing, and people will actually start to mention you. Characters in your town might write you and tell you what they thought of your latest research paper.
That's so cool.
Now, writing research papers and writing books are actually 2 different systems, and it only corresponds with the skill that is the expertise on that research paper, so archaeology or other skills that you might write research papers about. We decided to add archaeology to the game because it just feels right. It's fun to explore and find old parts of the world and try to piece together the mysteries of what happened.
So there is kind of a history of this world. That's cool.
The second primary crafting
Maybe it's a
category is
little more
floristry, where the
gonna be a little
player
more
can
detailed
find
than we
wildflowers around the world that they can then
had
harvest
initially
and
thought.
turn into all sorts of interesting and useful
So
items.
there is some lore
For
that maybe
instance,
we
the
can
player
find
can
out.
make unique furniture, much like
Furniture.
many of the other crafting categories. But
Ooh.
even more interesting is they can
Wall
turn
planter.
those wildflowers into mixed seeds.
Ooh.
So, for instance, if I find a bunch of pink wildflowers, I can turn them into mixed pink seeds. And if I plant these mixed pink seeds and perhaps fertilize them and water them over time, I can then get a random pink flower of a random type. More
Oh,
rare
that's so
flowers
cool.
will
I
appear
like the
less often,
randomness of
and
that.
less rare flowers will, of course, appear more often. I can then
Ooh.
harvest those flowers once they have grown, and I
That's
can
actually
place them
pretty.
in vases around my town and my house in order to
I
really
like random.
beautify my
Random makes
world.
things interesting. Keeps things
You
interesting.
can find wildflowers all over your region, but just like every other crafting category, they tend to like specific spots.
Yeah.
So, another fun tip for you: blue wildflowers seem to like forests.
Oh.
Growing flowers is different from finding flowers. So, wildflowers are
Arranging
the item that you can
flowers.
find
Oh, you can
inside of
make your own little
troves
flower
that are just
arrangements on the
used for
walls?
crafting. They are ingredients. But growing a flower can
What?
actually be harvested as a real object and placed in a vase out in the world.
Hmm. That's cool.
Now, the third
Sims
primary
got
crafting
nothing like
category
that. I
is
mean, they do kind
beachcombing,
of, but
where the player can explore the beach side to
not
find
quite the
seashells
same.
and other interesting items. But they can also find other things at unique bodies of water. For instance, there's only one spot where you can find Arctic seashells in the
Ooh.
entire region. You'll have to discover that for
You have to
yourself.
find where certain things
There are all sorts of different
spawn.
items that are found in beachcombing troves, largely seashells, but there are also some unique minerals and a few other unique items. And much like the other crafting categories, you can turn these ingredients into unique pieces of furniture, but
Ooh.
also fertilizer to be used in gardening and floristry, and a couple
Oh.
of other unique recipes.
Shells can be
We decided
fertilizer?
to add beachcombing to the game simply
Interesting.
because our starting
Yeah, I
town is
guess
on
I've
the
heard of
water,
that.
and it felt like a great way to add some variety and flavor to your walks along the beach.
Oh, that's so cute. It's like a jar filled with
Now, the final primary
precious
crafting category is jewelry making, where you can find rare
jewelry.
gemstones, crystals, minerals, and turn them into jewelry
That will be
and
awesome.
unique items and furniture, just like the other crafting
Like jewelry you
categories.
can actually
You
wear?
can mine or find these jewelry making troves all over the town, but mostly they tend to prefer mountainous
Yeah, of
regions.
course.
You
Usually
can
gems
turn
and
these
stuff.
items into, like I said, jewelry and
A
furniture,
wall
but also a
hanger?
couple of unique things
What?
like this beautiful gemstone wall hanger.
No. That is super unique. I love that.
There is no required skill to pick up a jewelry making trove, but as you pick them up, you will actually progress down your jewelry making skill.
That makes sense. That
We
makes
decided to
sense.
add jewelry making because it just felt like it fit in a world that relies so much on fashion and dressing up your character.
Yeah. Yeah. I
My
like
personal
that.
favorite part of the crafting system in general is probably the unique pieces of furniture that you can get per
Ooh.
primary crafting category.
Ooh.
Right now, each of those four primary crafting categories has four unique furniture items that you'll be able to unlock and add to the game. You
Nice.
first need to find the recipes for these pieces of furniture out in a trove in the wild.
So you have to find the
Once you learn the
recipes,
recipe, you can
learn the
create the piece of
recipes,
furniture.
create the
You can sell
furniture.
these pieces of furniture, but of course, the best part is placing them in your home and
Yeah.
world to beautify and express yourself. My
What?
personal favorite piece of furniture is probably the Victorian bed because it's just ridiculously huge and takes up way
A
too much
Victorian
space.
bed?
All right,
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
I
the
made
four
that.
primary crafting
Easy.
categories and an overview of what each of them does and how each of them works.
Wow.
We hope that this allows you to really embody many of your favorite crafting fantasies. Become that famous archaeologist, run your own flower shop from out of your home, create unique furniture, and dress up your town. This also acts as a great template to allow you to add crafting of any variety to the world. Whatever your ideal crafting hobby is, you can add it to the game as a mod and then share it with other players.
Yeah.
I am actually really excited to see what all of you add to the game for
You know
yourselves
modders are
and
gonna add
for each
so
other.
much. But
If
it's
you
so
take nothing else
cool
away from
that
this
this is in the
video,
base
I hope that
game.
you feel that item crafting is a fun system that allows the gating of exciting items and furniture behind a satisfying piece of collectathon and crafting gameplay. You
Yeah.
can really make people earn cool items through your own mods, and of course, we've prepared a number of wonderful little items for you to find, craft for yourself. Now, before we go, I would actually love to ask you for some feedback.
Feedback.
I have a
Okay.
couple of things that I've been wondering about the crafting system, and iterating on this design is how we make something wonderful. So, I've got 3 questions for you. My
Okay.
first one is very specific. Should I use simpler furniture items like tables and chairs as an ingredient in recipes? So, for example, if I wanted to make the resin wildflower table, I
That's
could
so
make it so that you
cool.
have to go and buy a regular table to then turn into the resin wildflower table. I kind of like this in a sort of
Yes.
DIY
Yes.
mentality, but
Yes.
I'm not sure I
DIY.
like the fact that you have to go and buy something to craft something. So let me know what you think of that. The second thing is more
Hmm.
open ended. I just want to know if there's other gameplay you'd like to see in these primary 4 categories. So, for example, what else might seashell crafting do? Right now, you can turn it into unique furniture like every category, but you can also create fertilizer, and that's
Can you
the
make
main utility you
jewelry
get out of it.
with the
You can
seashells?
use that
That's
fertilizer in
something I'd like
gardening.
to see.
And my last question for you is just what are some other crafting categories you might like to see in the game, either big or small? I'm really curious to see what you all mod for yourself, but it's possible that we add a couple of other small things here and there as we go.
That's a
Okay,
good
that's
one.
going to be it. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, I'm Willem Delventhal, and this has been a
We're
wonderful
working on the
introduction
daily
to
summary.
crafting in
Yeah.
Life by You. I hope all of
All
you are
this is a
excited,
work in
and I hope you
progress.
share this around with other people and pick up the game when it's ready. All right, take care. Bye bye now.
This is really neat. I'll be honest. There's a lot of really cool stuff that they just showed us here. I like crafting. I like survival crafting games. 7 Days to Die, Conan, Ark, stuff like that. I've played a lot of. So anything with more crafting and like creating things that you can then place in your world is very appealing to me. Very excited about that, and I think that they're on a good starting path. I do think that it can be up leveled a bit, like I said for the seashell one, jewelry. I would love to see seashell jewelry kind of like overlapping the categories might be really cool. Because then you could be like, oh, you collect the seashells, you can do furniture with it, but you can also do the jewelry, and it kind of like overlaps and combines together. That would be cool. Other than that, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. What do you guys think types of crafting and gathering would be good to have in the base game? Leave a comment. Let me know because I'm still going to have to do some thinking about that before I, fully answer that question. But I think it's something that we can think about and give them ideas for. And hopefully they take some of that and add some more cool stuff. I think the archaeology is awesome. So you can kind of do that without having to, have an extra expansion pack or whatever. A lot of this stuff just being a base game is huge, I think. I like the concept so far. I think that definitely could be more detailed. I love this. This little piece is so awesome. So you see the ingredients you need, and you can also use other ingredients. So if you're missing a calcite, then you can substitute it with langite. So I like that, where like you can use different gemstones to create different stuff, and it still will work. And then here it's a flower thing again. You can make a flower arrangement, and it does make it look different. So like if you use different flowers, I think it does make it look like a different object in the end. So that's cool. That's lots of good combinations that could be made there. And then the bed, like, was that from Archaeology that they made the bed? That's crazy. And this table, so cool. Tell me your favorite crafting type in this game so far, and tell me what you want to see them add. Because, like they said, they might be able to add some new ones, but also they're allowing modders to be able to expand upon it themselves. So we can do pretty much, you can do anything. This game is really giving creative freedom. And I love that. I love that they have that in mind from the beginning. And they're thinking about like how other people are going to use their tools to do stuff. And yeah, I guess with that all being said, make sure you like the video. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling about Life by You so far in the crafting system. Everything still, is a work in progress. So there are some glitches I've saw in the video, but I'm sure those things will be improved as time goes on. And they keep adding little notes saying like, oh, this will be improved. Don't worry about it. This is being worked on. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I think they are on a good path, and I look forward to continuing to cover the development update for this game. If you like that, make sure you stick around, and I'll see you guys next week for next week's update. All right, Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it is. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!